It's now time for healing. We want to have faith again. We want to be proud again. We just want the truth again. It's time for the people to run the government and not the other way around.
Your next president of the people.
It's time to honor and strengthen our families and our neighborhoods and our diverse cultures and customs.
By the people.
Our leaders have fought for every piece of progressive legislation from RFD and REA to Social Security and civil rights. In times of need, the Democrats were there.
For the people.
We need a Democratic president and a Congress to work in harmony for a change, with mutual respect for a change, in the open for a change. And next year, we're going to have that new leadership. You can depend on it.
Your next president will be Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter cares about people.
Hi, Jimmy Carter, sir.
Carter?
Yes, sir. I just came to meet you and ask you to help me. I'm breaking work.
Jimmy Carter knows there are too many people who want to work but can't find jobs. He's committed to solve the greatest problem facing the nation today, putting America back to work.
There's been a heck of a work shortage, and the poor people have taken a real beating.
Like, I got a friend of mine that's been unemployed since Christmas Eve, 75.
I'm hoping that Jimmy Carter will try and put a lot of people back to work, not just here, but everywhere.
Like so many of us, Jimmy Carter knows that health care in this country is too costly and doesn't reach the people who need help most. And he knows that under our tax system, the rich get richer, while workers get the short end of the stick. He knows that we must close those tax loopholes designed to help the rich and hurt the poor. He also knows that the Nixon-Ford administration has completely failed to curb the inflation eating at our pocketbooks.
One thing I'll give Nixon and Ford, they were not prejudiced. They screwed the blacks, the whites, the young, and the old. They got them all, you know.
Your next president will fight inflation with more jobs.
He has to. We need a change. It's time for a change.
We'll help put hard-earned dollars back in your pocket with decent and fair tax laws.
And I think the last 8 years just should be wiped off the slate.
And will assure every American adequate health care by working with the Congress to pass real health insurance legislation.
Now we think we have at hand an opportunity to really come into our own on behalf of all of those who toil in this country.
And we will help your next president, Jimmy Carter, get this job done.
I'm very happy with Carter. I think he's going to make a very, very intelligent candidate. I think he's going to be a wide-awake candidate, and I think he's going to be a type of candidate that will attract the American people. I think his approach is going to be new. I don't think he's going to follow the old standard policies in campaigning.
If we don't do it this year,
We're not going to do it.
And our members in the plants and shops agree.
Right or wrong, they're for a change.
there's too many of us in the labor movement that say that, yeah, I'm for the guy, and all they do is what we're doing now. A roundhouse, discussion. Instead of getting out there and paving, hitting the pavement.
But the need for action isn't unanimous.
So far, I've vetoed 48 bills sent to me by this Congress, and 39 of my vetoes have been sustained.
He wasn't kidding. His veto scoreboard is over 50, and he's not through yet. Yes, the Nixon-Ford White House feels comfortable with 7, 8, 9% unemployment because the economic masterminds like Arthur Burns and William Simon tell us it's good for us. For years they've been saying it'll bring about a slow but sure recovery by curbing inflation. But what should come first in America's priorities? Profits or people?
We'll never have an end to the inflationary spiral as long as we've got 8.5 or 9 million people out of work who are looking for jobs, plus another 2 or 3 million people who were formerly looking for jobs who've now given up hope, plus another 1.5 million people who are young and vigorous and able to work full-time who are chronically on welfare. We've got to establish unemployment as a top commitment of this country.
Oh, Carter Mondale. Oh, Lord. I think that's going to be the best thing that's happened to labor in the last 8 years.
But his overall purpose is our overall purpose, to put America back to work.
This Congress has passed bill after bill to reduce unemployment, to create more jobs. And what has been the response?
This Humphrey Hawkins bill, for which the Congress has budgeted startup money, is a classic example of the way the misguided majority in recent Congresses reacts.
And what has the Nixon-Ford White House done about the cost of living? Sure, inflation may have come down from the double-digit figures, but it still cancels out the hard-earned gains workers fight for at the bargaining table. Right now, the average worker buys about 5% less with the money he takes home than 4 years ago. And this inflation goes right to the stomach. Bread, potatoes, eggs, up. Coffee, bacon, chuck roast, all up. We all pay the bill for the Nixon-Ford economic mess, but we don't intend to let it go on.
The last 8 years, in plain words, flaw.
I think it's about time for a change.
It's a disappointment to have so many bills vetoed by Republicans.
I'm just not happy with the whole mess.
If we can get this, in a national labor movement to support Carter, I don't see any chance of him losing it.
Got to get out the vote. It's the only way we're going to do it.
That's the only way.
We're going to win in November.
Governor Carter is going to put America back to work again, and that's the name of the game.
It's a horrible, conglomerate, confused, overlapping, wasteful, unmanageable mess. The American people are competent. Why can we not have a competent government?
But not everyone wants progress.
Let me say there are plenty of more vetoes where those came from.
He sticks to his guns, and we're the ones who get hurt. And what about our nation's health care? Last year, Americans spent $120 billion on hospital and medical bills, and still, millions of our people lack decent medical attention. Many suffer, many die, because they can't afford to pay for basic health care. And yet the Nixon-Ford White House has done nothing to solve this crucial problem. It says the richest nation in the world can't afford the best health care in the world. Your next president doesn't agree.
Our nation's health problems must be attacked from many approaches, one of which is national health insurance.
We, like Jimmy Carter, insist that this is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's why the AFL-CIO also seeks tax justice. No, not a tax bone for the workers and a tax feast for business so that corporations get bigger and the rich get richer. We want a system without loopholes, without special favors, without discrimination.
The surest income to be taxed is the income earned from manual labor. There are not any hidden tax loopholes for people who draw a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks, but there are a lot of tax loopholes for people who are rich and who have those lobbyists working in Washington full-time to retain their special privilege. The average family in this country that makes less than $10,000 a year actually pays a higher proportion of their income in taxes than the average family in this country that makes more than $1 million a year. That's disgraceful.
To help bring about tax equity, we're doing everything in our power to get this Congress to pass fair and equitable tax laws. But even if they do, what do we face?
I vetoed 48 bills sent to me by this Congress. There are plenty of more vetoes where those came from. I am vetoing the temporary tax cut extension bill sent to me by the Congress today. There are plenty of more vetoes where those came from.
Jobs, inflation, health care, taxes. These are some of the most urgent problems we face, but there are so many others. More and better housing, the right education for our kids, mass transportation, a sensible energy policy, and more, much, much more. That's why we will work in every city and every county, because we believe in Jimmy Carter.
We will give him all-out support of the AFL-CIO. We'll give him all the support that we can legitimately and legally give through our COPE organization, through our central bodies, through our state federations, through our national unions, through through our COPE area committees, the entire bit.
Too many have had to suffer at the hands of a political and economic elite who have shaped decisions and never had to account for mistakes nor to suffer from injustice. They never stand in line looking for a job. Now, any system of economics is bankrupt if it sees either value or virtue in unemployment. I believe that anyone who's able to work ought to work.
We believe this man can put America back to work. We believe this man can bring trust and confidence back to our government. We believe this team is dedicated to decency and fairness in a country where all people are not only created equal, but are treated equally. That's why your national AFL-CIO, your international union, your state bodies, your local councils, and workers all over America are committed to doing everything in their power to make Jimmy Carter your next president.
Next president of the United States, Jimmy Carter. He'll be the next president of the United States, no doubt.
It's time for a nationwide, comprehensive health program for all our people. We simply cannot check inflation by keeping people out of work. It's time for a complete overhaul of our income tax system. We will go forward united in a calm determination, ready to embark on great national deeds. And once again, as brothers and sisters, our hearts will swell with pride to call ourselves Americans. Thank you very much.